I refuse to eat anything at all for the next 48 hours. So about this time last year, I created a fitness challenge for myself, and pretty much the entire challenge was to bulk up to about 210 pounds and then do a cut. Now, every couple of years, I tend to do a bulk and I tend to do a cut, but for the past year or so, for this current cutting cycle, I don't know why, I found that my progress hasn't been fantastic. I think it's because I'm not prioritizing the cutting part of it, and I'm more focused on other goals related to my business productivity accelerator. But regardless, I haven't been making the progress that I wanted to make. Don't get me wrong, I'm still making some progress, but it's not substantial progress, especially considering the amount of time it's been taking me to cut in bulk. Usually I can probably get in a good cut within a year. It's been about 2 years so far, and I'm still at about 13-14% body fat. My goal was to get to about 8% body fat. So what I decided to do was a complete 48-hour fast. That means no food at all. The whole idea behind it came from a few different areas. For a while now, I've been wanting to fast more frequently. Years ago, I used to fast a lot. Like, I would literally skip breakfast and not eat until about 1, 2, 3 p.m. and I would stop eating around 8 p.m. One of the things I wanted to do in the past was every month, on the first of every month, regardless of what day it was, just do a complete 24-hour fast. The inspiration for that idea came from, I think it was either The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari or 5 a.m. Club. I forget which book. I think it was 5 a.m. Club that I saw, but that was sort of the inspiration for that idea, because I think at some point in the book, one of the characters in the book, I think he's like a billionaire, he would choose to not eat for a whole day or something. So I wanted to try it myself, and this is me finally actively putting that idea to the test. So you're gonna be with me for the next 48 hours. It's about 3 p.m. I started my fast last night at about 10 p.m. So you're gonna be with me the entire time. We're gonna go along with the process. You're gonna see my ups, my downs, if I'm gonna be starving, if I'm gonna be cranky or agitated, and we're gonna document the results. So for like a year or so now, I had this goal of mine where I wanted to start pretty much doing like 24-hour fasts on the first of every single month. And the reason why I wanted to do this is because I was trying to kind of tap into that whole autophagy sort of health benefit that I've heard about. Pretty much where you clean out your system, it reduces the risk of cancer. It helps you kind of clear out all that garbage food and all that stuff that kind of just gets stuck in your cells and all that crud. That's one reason why I wanted to do it. Second reason is I wanted to try to do it for like the sake of mental fortitude, like just challenge myself more, and in general do more things that make me feel uncomfortable and stress me out, but are beneficial for me in the long run. So I kind of decided to kill two birds with one stone. I'll make a YouTube video, and I'll also make the video about me doing this process, but I'm going to take it up a notch because I've done not full 24-hour fasts. So I've never done like a full 24-hour fast in the past. We got the basketball court down here. Yo, I got to start using this one day at some point. If anyone wants to play basketball, come through and let's play. I suck at basketball, so you're probably going to beat me pretty easily. But I just want to make use of this basketball court because it's kind of sick. I'm in the media room right now, like the viewing room. But yeah, so I've never done a full 24-hour fast. What I've done in the past was like 18-hour fasts, or I had some friends in the past that celebrated Ramadan, and during Ramadan I would try to do pretty much the fasting schedule that Muslims have, where I think it's you can't eat from sun up to sunset, something like that. I did that in the past. That was super hard, but basically I'm gonna try to push it a little bit further and do a full 48 hours of no food. I got Gatorade, I can drink water, and I can drink black coffee, no sugar, no cream, but no food at all. All right, so it is Monday, November 11th. I just finished up my 48-hour fasting challenge yesterday. And let me just cut to the chase. I failed. I did not get the entire 48 hours. And to be honest, I'm a little bit disappointed in myself. But let me just go over the entire weekend and my entire experience with this and kind of give you the details and the behind the scenes look at exactly what went down, where I went wrong, and what I think about 48-hour fasting as a whole. So Friday was the day I officially began the challenge. I started at 10 p.m. By that point, I had already eaten all of my meals for the day, and that was kind of the starting point of my entire fast. Now, from 10 p.m. until about 8:45 the following day, of course, wasn't too bad because I was sleeping through the entire fast. At about 8:45, I woke up, Started to get to work. It wasn't too bad, to be honest. The effects of the hunger hadn't really kicked in. I'm sure you've all experienced this before where you wake up and you kind of feel hungry, but it's not terrible. Or maybe I'm just more used to it because I typically do fast in the mornings anyway. But it wasn't too bad. And from about 8:30 a.m. until about 4:30-ish p.m. on Saturday, I felt pretty good overall. I didn't feel too bad. From that point, I think around 6:30, 7:30 on Saturday, I started to get a bit of a headache. And at this point, I'm almost at the 24-hour mark. 24 hours would be, of course, 10 p.m. on Saturday. So at this point, around 6:30 p.m., I'm starting to feel a little bit of a headache, but for the most part, it's tolerable, it's manageable, it's not too bad at all. I think around the 24-hour mark is about the time when I actually started to feel pretty good about the entire experience. My hunger went away, my headache went away, I felt pretty upbeat, my mood was pretty positive. It was actually pretty good. Within that 24-hour time span, it wasn't too bad overall, and I think it's something that's certainly doable in the future. While I'm not too sure if the health benefits that people report are really worth it in the grand scheme of things, and I'll get to that in just a moment, it wasn't too bad. Now, Sunday is where things started to go downhill. Sunday morning, I woke up at about 8:30 a.m., didn't go to the gym. I'd planned on going to the gym. I thought about doing it, maybe pushing myself a little bit more, trying to give myself some extra credit points. I didn't go the full mile. Pretty much because I was a bit worried that with no food at all and kind of this being a brand new experience for my body, I didn't want to push myself too hard and cause my muscles to fatigue too much, or I didn't want to injure myself, pretty much is what it came down to. So I didn't work out. I didn't do much of anything. I didn't even do cardio. I just woke up for about an hour and a half, 2 hours. I kind of just relaxed in the morning, watched some TV, watched some YouTube, just took it easy. And the entire time when I was watching TV, my brain was like zooming in and out of the screen. It's hard for me to articulate, but I was kind of just zooming in and out, my focus. It was there, but it wasn't there at the exact same time. On top of that, I started to get a bit grumpy. Like, I usually never get hangry, ever. I think because I'm so used to fasting anyway, like pretty much in the mornings, I fast until about 1 p.m., 2 p.m. anyway. So I think I'm so used to fasting, I never get hangry. I actually got hangry for the first time since ever on Sunday. So I was a bit grumpy, and I knew at that point the fast was kind of going downhill. Now, around that time, I started to drink a little bit more Gatorade mixed with water. Like I mentioned earlier, I had a few bottles of Gatorade that I was sort of diluting with a lot of water. So it's kind of like 90% water, 10% Gatorade. And it helped a little bit. I don't know the science behind it. Perhaps the electrolytes made me less grumpy. Maybe some of the minor traces of sugar or whatever in the Gatorade helped me out. I couldn't tell you. I don't know the science, and I don't really particularly care. But it did help a little bit. But when I say a little bit, it wasn't substantial. I was still a little bit grumpy, but my headache did start to go away a little bit, which sort of helped me not feel as grumpy as I was feeling before. We're about 3 hours into today's fast, and I don't feel that bad, to be honest. I had a little headache this morning. My eyes were like zooming in and out. I was hallucinating, but for the most part, I'm actually not feeling too bad. How do you feel about my fast, Ida?
I think you're crazy.
Crazy why?
Because I can't stay without eating that long.
It's all about the mental fortitude.
I already have a headache just watching you.
I did have a headache last night a little bit. Around I think around 10 p.m. or so, I had like a mild headache. But it kind of went away around like 11:30ish. This morning I woke up, had a headache. Now it's kind of going away again. So maybe I'm just adapting to it. But
do you have a reason why you're doing this?
I do. I was talking about it in the beginning of the video, but one, I'd heard that it's good for health benefits to fast because it cleans out your system. The main reason is I just wanted to try it because I had a goal back in the past of doing like on the first of every month, a full 24-hour fast.
You're not planning on working out today, are you?
I wanted to, but I'm debating it.
I don't think you should.
Yeah,
I'll die at a gym.
Let the weights crush me. Take me away.
I don't think that You should do that.
It is cold outside.
It is kind of cold.
I know part of it too is like fat loss. It's kind of a quick way to get me into fat burning mode, I guess. But years ago when I was in college, I used to do like fasted cardio in the morning, and it worked out pretty well, and I stopped doing it for a little bit of time just because the science says that it wasn't best. But I don't know, when I don't do fasted cardio and like do it the way it's recommended, I don't feel like it works as well. So around 11:30, I began to get to work. And if you're not familiar with me or with the channel, I have a business called Productivity Accelerator. We help young entrepreneurs, young professionals get more done in less time. I was working on a few newsletters that were supposed to go out that week, and I was working on a few videos and podcasts that I had been on recently. This is where it really began to go downhill. My head began to hurt so bad. I started to get like huge, heavy migraines to the point where it was difficult to even speak. And if you know me at all, or if you're familiar with me at all, I can literally work from say 8 a.m. until 11 p.m. almost straight with almost basically no breaks in between. So I'm pretty good at focusing, and I'm pretty good at ignoring things like minor headaches or just random distractions. I struggled so hard to focus with this headache. I don't know what it is. This is probably one of the worst headaches I've had in a very long time. And it was around that time I kind of realized I don't think I'm going to make it to 10 p.m. And on top of that, we shot some content earlier that day, me and my wife. We had other things planned. We were going to cook and do meal prep for the entire week. And we had already planned on going to see a movie that night. By the way, we went to see Smile 2. It's a fantastic movie. Highly recommend it. But I realized if we went to see this movie, I wouldn't eat until maybe about 2 hours after the movie ended. And if working gave me this kind of headache, I wasn't sure that I can kind of go into a movie, one, enjoy the movie, two, I don't think I'd be able to focus on the movie enough to the point where it'd actually be enjoyable. So it was around, I think, 4 p.m. or so, right after I finished working, I started to honestly cave. I literally came out of my room and I told my wife, you know what? I think I'm going to throw in the towel. I don't think I can finish this challenge. I was about 6 hours away. 6 hours away. I almost made it. So 42 hours into this 48-hour fast, the hunger and the headaches really started to get to me. And the funny thing is, it wasn't even really the hunger. It was more the headaches that accompanied the hunger. I think if it was just me being hungry, I could have dealt with that for a longer period of time. But the headaches are really what caused me to fold in the towel. So it was at that point that I broke my fast. Now, what did I take away from this experience? Because the whole purpose of this, if you recall from the beginning of the video, it was sort of a test of mental fortitude for me. And it was also sort of a test to see if the health benefits were what people typically say they are if you go on a 48-hour fast. And the third reason, and this is more of a minor reason, I wanted to see how it would affect my fat loss. Like I mentioned earlier in the video, I'm sort of doing a cutting phase right now, and my progress has been declining. It has been slowing down. So I wanted to see if me fasting for 2 days might actually sort of ramp up the progress or make any substantial difference. The overall takeaway, it didn't really do much for me at all. Did it help me lose fat? No, not really. The moment I started on Friday versus when I woke up on Sunday and then ended on Sunday, there was basically no difference. I looked the exact same. I don't think I lost any body fat at all. And I don't think it's a worthwhile strategy if weight loss or fat loss is your goal. As far as productivity, because I've heard some people say in the past that if they fast, they are able to get more done because they're more motivated and they can concentrate more. I haven't found that to be true. In fact, it was the opposite for me. I can usually work a very long period of time, like I mentioned, when not fasting. While fasting, I felt more distracted because I just kept getting these bad headaches. And if you've ever tried to work while you have a massive headache, it doesn't bode well for you. It's not favorable. So for those two reasons, I don't recommend it. As far as the long-term health benefits, obviously, after fasting for a weekend, I couldn't tell you if there were any significant benefits. I didn't feel that great as I approached the 42-hour mark. However, around 24 hours of fasting, I did actually feel more positive, and I did feel like there was actually some at least mood benefit to the fast. So perhaps a 24-hour fast, if that's something you're considering, might be better than a 48-hour fast or even a 42-hour fast. So here's what I think overall about this experiment and what it can mean for you. Should you fast? It's hard to say based on my short experiment. I think a 24-hour fast is plenty if you want to test your mental fortitude and if you want to tap into some of the potential fat loss benefits. Do you need to do a 48-hour fast? No. Do I think anything close to 48 hours is necessary for fat loss or for a mental fortitude test? Absolutely not. In the grand scheme of things, I don't recommend it. I don't think it's worth doing. And I think there are other, more efficient ways to essentially achieve the same exact desired results. But let me know what you think about this. Shoot me a message in the comments below. Let me know if you want to try to do your own 48-hour fast or your 24-hour fast. Let me know how it turns out. I'm curious to see your results. But with that being said, I appreciate you for taking the time to watch the video. Please click the like button if you liked the video. Leave a comment below. And I hope to see you in the next video. Peace out. Bye.